Hello， 大家好，我係 Monika。喺呢條影片想同大家毫無保留咁樣分享一下，我喺中學從英文唔合格，對英文零興趣，點樣一步步靠自己去提升英文嘅口語，到而家教育碩士畢業。我會喺呢條影片同大家分享一下一啲失敗同埋唔開心嘅學習經歷啦，同埋我點樣用真正有效嘅方法去提升我嘅英文口語。呢條影片咧係會以全英文去介紹，不過咧都會有中文同埋英文字幕喺下面嘅。喺同大家分享之前咧，我都想為我即將要舉辦嘅英文口語課程做招募。咁之前我都舉辦過一啲成人嘅英文班啦，都係大受好評。而大家最想提升咧都係英文口語嘅部分，所以我就即將會舉辦一個為期8星期嘅英文口語早鳥班。呢個課程係俾有決心提升英文口語嘅成年人去參加嘅。但係喺正式開課之前，我想專心咧去照顧好少數合適嘅學員，幫助佢哋獲得成績。所以第一批嘅學員只係打算收20個，收生期限係2個星期。所以如果你有決心、有動力，而且肯為提升英文咧作出努力嘅話，咁你就可以撳下面第一條嘅連結咧，同我進行1對1嘅 Zoom 會議，睇下我可唔可以幫助到你。English is not my native language. I grew up in Hong Kong, where my family members did not have the financial means to support me to study abroad. Also, my family members do not speak in English. Although I've traveled to several countries where I had to use English, I've never been to an English-speaking country. Therefore, most of my efforts to improve my English were in Hong Kong. As most of you may have probably heard before, Hong Kong is notorious for its high-stress education system. Perfect scores and immaculate report cards are the only pathways to student success in the future. I attended a highly competitive secondary school in Hong Kong. I remember back in the first year, my English proficiency, including my articulation and my speaking skills, were insufficient, and therefore I could never ever pass any English examination in the first year. During my time at school, we focused heavily on grammar exercises and memorizing texts, but there wasn't much emphasis on speaking skills and communication. And I didn't have much enthusiasm for learning English. While I aimed for good grades, I didn't particularly motivated to develop my speaking skills in this language. And I could never ever forget what my English teacher said to me after the first examination. She pointed at me like this and read out loud my minor spelling mistakes, like something like friend. All the other classmates would laugh, which was super embarrassing. So I had my nose run when I cried like this. This experience still lingers in my memory due to the harsh pain it caused me. And that teacher actually shattered all my confidence in learning English at that time. I hated English. If you have similar experience like mine, you have to keep watching, because here comes the turning point. Luckily, I discovered my love YouTube at that time, which was in the middle of my first secondary school year. The first 2 channels that I watched are Smarsh and Niga Higa. They are probably the first 2 comedian channels on YouTube, which create sketches and improv videos. I realized by that time, I had been learning English for several years already, but I still don't understand most of what they said. And there were not many videos with Chinese subtitles back then. I wanted to understand what they said so badly because I was obsessed with watching their videos, and that became my intrinsic motivation. Intrinsic motivation is like your inner motivation, what you actually want to achieve, to experience, and to feel. It's not about getting a good academic result to please your parents or teachers. It's all about you, what makes you feel genuinely happy. Just learning English and seeing the progress makes me feel genuinely happy. From my own English learning journey, I have concluded 3 truly effective steps to improve my English speaking fluency, and I'm going to share with you guys. The first step is to find your intrinsic motivation. Maybe it allows you to watch your favorite show without subtitles, to sing your favorite songs, or to talk to your overseas friends. Of course, maybe you want to read different kinds of information in English, like a book or news, which is a really great motivation. Because when we only read stuff in our native language, we sometimes get caught up in a knowledge bubble, which only include one-sided information. So learning a new language is the fastest way to think beyond that language bubble. Maybe you want to study abroad. You want to have a different perspective on the world. When you are learning a new language, it actually helps you see the world through different lenses. No matter what your motivation is, you really have to have your personal motivation. Otherwise, you will find yourself procrastinating or convincing yourself that you don't need to do anything. You need to have a reason that drives you forward. So guys, what are your motivation for learning English? Tell me on the comment sections down below. For most people, learning English is a second language. Do we really need to master all the difficult vocabularies and articulate all the nuances perfectly? Or do we only want to be able to express our thoughts fluently? Right, the second goal seems a lot simpler for us to achieve. Indeed, we need to study idioms and advanced vocabularies, but mostly for our understanding and comprehension. Having a wide range of complex vocabulary is not a necessity for fluent English speaking. For example, when we are describing fart, someone may say, as food is digested, gases include carbon dioxide and hydrogen build up within the intestines and seek their way out. Or you may use simple words like, it is created because your butts are pressed together. Well, actually both sentences explain farting, but is that easier for us to understand and say the second sentence? So for speaking fluency, I would suggest we focus on learning and utilize those commonly used words and be comfortable with their usage instead of learning very difficult new vocabularies. The third and the most important step for me is self-talk strategy. Indeed, the best way to practice English is to speak with a native speaker. Imagine having your first conversation in a new language with a native speaker while a lot of other native speakers are listening to you. Terrifying, right? Especially if you happen to be an introverted person like me. Not to mention, a lot of us may not have the opportunity to speak with a native speaker on a daily basis. So I started self-talk strategy is talking to yourself. Basically, it's what I'm doing now. It enables you to practice anytime you want. You can start talking about any topic out loud. Self-talk strategy or dialogue with yourself is proven to be able to improve people's confidence in speaking English by many research. The speaking examination at school would be how I had become conversational in language after 6 months of studying it. After practicing self-talk for 6 months at home, my speaking skills and conversation with others actually went way better than I thought. I did make some mistakes here and there. I didn't have any uncomfortable pauses. I sound a lot more natural and I got my point across. And I have nothing else to give credit other than self-talk. Is what made it possible. 但喺提升英文口語嘅過程裏邊，我都遇到唔少嘅困難。希望有專業嘅人咧可以喺從旁咧指導我，俾我回饋同埋改正我嘅錯誤。如果你有決心去提升你嘅英文口語，揾咗好多個方法，但係始終治標唔治本。我即將咧就會舉辦一個為期8星期嘅英文口語早鳥課程。如果你有決心去提升英文嘅口語，就可以撳下面第一條連結，同我進行30分鐘嘅1對1會議，睇下我可唔可以幫助到你。如果覺得今次英文分享咧對大家提升英文係有幫助嘅話咧，唔好唔記得俾一個 like 我，呢個 like 對我嚟講真係好重要。多謝大家睇到呢一度，我哋下星期再見，拜拜。